he did mention trust in the meeting, and he said both Charlie and him both like to be, honest, trustworthy, and that's just in their DNA. They both were like that. They wanted to be respected and didn't want to, integrity was just a huge deal for him. He loved being trustworthy, that because people are giving them their money, their livelihood, and they have to trust him with their livelihood. And he made a big deal of that at the meeting.
The Sound of Money with santoshsirur.
On this episode of The Sound of Money, we have a guest who's been with us in our last year, a very special episode that we had and where we spoke about Warren Buffett. And that was a part of his book, a national award-winning book, which, won a lot of accolades. And he spoke to us very extensively on my podcast, The Sound of Money. And Dr. Finkle actually is a national award-winning author of this book, Warren Buffett, investor and entrepreneur. He's also the Piggott Professor of Entrepreneurship at Gonzaga University. So let's welcome once again Dr. Todd A Finkle. He joins me from Spokane. And hi, Todd, and welcome once again on my podcast, The Sound of Money.
Santosh, thanks for having me again. We're going to have a great talk.
Absolutely. So we're going to talk to Todd today about a very special event that just happened a couple of days back, which is the Berkshire Hathaway Annual General Meeting that was held in Omaha. And a lot of Indians did visit, and I did see a couple of pics on Twitter and X. So, Dr. Todd, was it the 13th time that you attended this AGM?
This is the 15th time.
Wow, 15th
I've been
time.
to a shareholder meeting. Yeah.
Okay, but I'm sure there was a huge difference with Charlie not around. So how was the environment, the ambience?
Well, they started out the meeting with he always starts out with a movie, and the movie is usually about a half hour long, and it's usually very comedic. But this time it was all about Charlie.
Okay.
So it was a nice dedication to Charlie. They showed you where he was born, where he grew up, and then they took you through some of the antics of former movies, because typically Charlie and Warren fight over the women in these videos, these famous women like Jamie Lee Curtis and some women from Desperate Housewives, which is a TV show here, and they always pick Charlie. Warren always gets the door slammed on him.
Okay.
So they showed that was really funny. And then they had, at the end of the movie, it was very touching. They showed all these very famous kind of couples, meaning Laurel and Hardy, and two people that have, Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin, things like that. Yeah. And then at the end, they showed Charlie and Warren together. It was very heartwarming.
How many people?
And then they went into the meeting.
Okay, how many people would have been a part of this AGM this time around?
There were 40,000 people there.
Wow, awesome. Okay, so did Warren Buffett make some kind of any reference to India? I believe he was asked a few questions. The reason I asked you this is India is the talk of the town, and more so in the financial world. Was there any reference to India?
Yeah, somebody asked him a question related to India, and he just said that he wasn't ready to invest in it. I got the feeling that he's 93 years old.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a lot of research before you go in to India, because you've got the political risk, currency risk, and he doesn't know enough. But he didn't count it out. He was saying great things about India, and he said maybe the future management may do a deal in India. So
Okay, okay. I believe the question was asked by Rajiv Agrawal of Durdashi Advisors, which is, I think, a US-based hedge fund, and I think that was the response, which he gave to the question that Mr. Agrawal asked him. Did you meet a lot of Indians by any chance?
I met a few, but there were a lot of Chinese people there.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah. Uh,
okay.
I spoke at 3 conferences,
Uh-huh.
and I had a interview with
Okay.
Tencent News,
Yeah.
uh, and it got 100,000 views in the first 2 days. My
Wow.
interview.
Okay, that's amazing. So
That
what
is
kind?
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. So what's the ambience around? You would have interacted both before the AGM, around between the AGM breaks, right? Later after the AGM. Uh, what's the mood like? What's the feel happening out there in and around the AGM? What were the topics being discussed?
Well, I think, the meeting is like I think Warren said this, it's a celebration.
Hmm.
And it's part rock concert because everybody's waiting outside to get in all night long.
Yeah,
And it's part cult because we all have something in common.
yeah.
It brings us together. So, and it's part carnival
Hmm. Hmm.
because there's an area in there where there's like 25 of Warren businesses,
Yeah,
and he's selling product
yeah,
in there. So
yeah.
you get an opportunity to go in there and do that. Um, it's just we all have this commonality, and we want to learn, and it's not just about money and investments, it's about how to live a better life.
True.
To me, this is my own personal opinion. Take
Hmm.
it for what it's worth, but I think that's why we're there. All of us are there, is because we know when we're listening to Warren Buffett, he's telling us the truth.
Yeah.
He's not lying to us. He's got such integrity that whenever something really bad happens, who do they put up on the TV screen or CNBC? Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
During the financial crisis, that's who they put on TV. During COVID, that's who they put on TV. We trust Warren Buffett. I think that's just my own personal opinion. Sure, you've got all the other things and the money and learning about investments, but in essence, there's more to life than just money.
Hmm. True,
It's how
true.
to be a better person.
True, absolutely. You've been an integral part of these AGMs. 15th one is the one you attended. Uh, what's been your experience so far?
Um, from this meeting,
Yeah, this meeting more so, and also over the years that you've seen, maybe you could walk us through the kind of ambience, the kind of the kind of talk around these meetings, and more so with specific reference to the meeting that was held a week back.
well, Warren, I would say this year without Charlie, it was significantly different
Mm-hmm.
because Charlie is his sidekick,
Yeah,
and usually Charlie has some humorous things that he says during the meeting, and the crowd just goes nuts. If you've ever watched a shareholder meeting there, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I got the feeling that this year was about 80 to 90% Warren, and he had Greg Abel, who's taking over for him, sitting right next to him, and Ajit Jain, who runs the insurance area,
yeah.
was right next to Greg Abel. But Greg, I thought, did a really good job. I have total confidence in the management team and Greg taking over. He's a very competent guy. I have not heard one person say anything negative about Greg Abel.
Hmm. Very good. Okay, that's a very good, very positive. You know, uh, 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 you mentioned about Charlie Munger, he not been around. Was that within the audiences? Was the miss really felt, and was it really palpable?
Uh, it one of the morning guys on um, Andrew Sorkin, I
Hmm.
think is his name.
Yeah.
He said he cried,
Hmm.
after the movie, which was pretty telling. This is, one of the morning guys on CNBC on Squawk Box
Yeah.
after the movie happened. So the emotional impact is huge,
Mm.
you know,
Indeed.
but it went way beyond that meeting. This was going on way before the meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
People were saying stuff on the internet and
Mm.
LinkedIn and giving their regards to Charlie.
Yeah.
Warren dedicated, this is something that was different this year.
Mm.
Typically, he has, 15, 20 authors selling their book in the arena.
Yeah.
This year, he did not have any. He only had one book for sale, and that was the updated Poor Charlie's Almanac.
Hmm.
And he sold 2,400 copies on Friday
Yeah.
before the meeting even started.
Mm. Okay. Okay. What do you think? What brings this financial community to this Mecca of Warren Buffett in Omaha every year?
I think there's a combination of things. I love it because of the people.
Yeah.
Um, Warren, of course, but the people that you meet from all over the world, and they tend to be extremely bright people. And I've made several new relationships this year, and I even had a hedge fund guy come up to me and introduce himself since he said he wanted 100 of my books.
Ah,
So
wonderful. Okay.
that was kind of fun.
Awesome. In
Um,
fact, you did a book signing again,
I did,
right?
yeah, I did.
Yeah. Maybe
I
tell
did
us,
a book signing,
share your experience there.
and I was sitting right next to Robert Hagstrom. So, for you people that might not know Robert Hagstrom, he's like the top author on Warren Buffett books, and he's got a New York Times bestseller called The Warren Buffett Way, which all of you should buy. And
Okay.
he told me this was a great honor. He congratulated me on my book, and he said I quoted you in my new book. And he showed
Oh,
me in his book where he quoted me.
awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, so I it's little things like that that just kind of make your day.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's really amazing getting to know about the AGM, and I'm sure 15 AGMs is, I think, really, I think you can actually write a book now on the AGMs itself. Before we leave, Dr. Todd Finkle, uh, maybe you could share a little more, a few of your memories about Warren Buffett. Of course, we spoke in length in our previous conversation, but for our new listeners watching this podcast, and then we take them back through to the previous conversation a little bit before as we wind up.
Yeah, at the meeting, one thing that he has not done before that he did is he recognized a lady who just gave $1 billion to charity to the Albert Einstein School of Medicine. This lady who was a professor, and her husband, uh, Sandy Gottesman,
Mm-hmm.
was her husband's name. He ran a fund in New York City, and he passed away a few years ago. And he was also on Berkshire Hathaway's board of directors. So he had billions.
Yeah.
He was worth billions of dollars. I'm sure it was all Berkshire too.
Imagine. Yeah.
So what she did, and it was amazing what they showed the medical school students when they announced that they didn't have to pay for their tuition anymore.
Mm. Oh, that's
So
amazing. Yeah.
that's like $250,000
Yeah.
that each student doesn't have to pay back in student loans.
Mm. Mm.
And they were all cheering so much. That makes such a huge difference because then they can go back and give it back to other people and go to communities
Yeah.
that need doctors.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and give it back.
Yeah. I remember we speaking about trust. I think that's the underlying always when it comes to Warren Buffett. Your parting words on Warren Buffett and the trust factor, maybe if you could share with us.
Yeah, he did mention trust in the meeting, and he said both Charlie and him both like to be, honest, trustworthy, and that's just in their DNA. They both were like that. They wanted to be respected and didn't want to. Integrity was just a huge deal for him. He loved being trustworthy, that because people are giving them their money, their livelihood, and they have to trust him with their livelihood. And he made a big deal of that at the meeting.
Absolutely. Wonderful having you once again on my podcast, Dr. Finkle. Looking forward to a few more podcasts in due course. But for now, thank you so much for joining in from Spokane. And I'm sure you had a wonderful time in Omaha. And I'm sure you're looking forward for the next one, as the Mecca of Warren Buffett really is being talked about in the business world. Thank you once again for joining in. Bye-bye. And
thanks, Santosh. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.